This is the thing, bro. Is like Conor McGregor. He's a G. He's the best in the game. You know. He's well, he was the best in the game, and he threw all that way, all his legacy, for stupid vices because he had an addictive personality. He allowed the fame and the success to consume him rather than using it to his advantage and being humble. It came back to bite him.
To be in life. For in those duels against great warriors, respect lay amidst the bravado and showmanship. After the dust settling, each time a line of morality drawn in the sand. That same pattern would follow, come an eventual super fight with lightweight king Eddie Alvarez at 205. A chance to make history as the first simultaneous double champion. The swaggering antics were par for the course, but the end result, far, far from it.
I remember being on my butt, and I was like, wow, that was quick. Whatever that was, it was fast.
Pop back up. Big shot.
Well, he hurt him bad, Mike.
There was another big left. Oh, wow. Look at this. Really?
One guy looked like he was from Mars. The other guy looked like he was just a normal dude trying to figure it out.
Eddie, the moment he got hit, was like, what the fuck?
Alvarez getting loose, getting better here in this round, though.
Oh, man.
Until then.
Oh, he's done. He's done.
It is all over. History has been made. Conor McGregor is the UFC lightweight champion.
He was a different beast, bro. Matchups is everything, right? In this sport of combat sports, matchups is everything. You know, you can be, you know, the thing that made Conor McGregor so well in his early career was the matchups. He had great matchups. As soon as he versed Khabib, which was just a house of a basket case, you know what I mean? Like, he was just he caused all sorts of issues for Conor. Conor he was not a good matchup for Khabib, and Khabib destroyed him, absolutely mauled the crap out of him. But before that, Conor had a good around amount of matchups which he was able to dominate and knock people out.
What a performance.
And he sold fights. Even that Khabib fight wouldn't have done as nearly good if you didn't have Conor McGregor doing what he was doing, bro. Conor sold that fight. Every fight that Conor McGregor has been in, he has sold it and made the UFC more popular, more eyeballs, and everyone just happy to watch it. So, yeah, shout out to Conor, man.
Those victories were in the moment, legacy defining.
To that Conor, not the new Conor. I should make that clear. You know, shout out to Conor back then. You know, I loved the old Conor McGregor. The new Conor now, the guy that's you got to say it, the retired UFC fighter, he ain't the same guy, man. Ain't the same guy.
Endorphin inducing, the peak of the mountain. But that was exactly the problem. Unknowingly, psychological seeds had been planted, pushing an already brash ego onto an unsustainable path that would only conclude in self-destruction. The final twist of fate to seal that path would be the allure of a super fight, not fought inside of those 8-cage walls, but fought roped against Floyd Money Mayweather.
The reigning, defending, 155-pound champion of the UFC, the notorious Conor McGregor!
When I count to 3, I want everyone in this arena to scream at the top of your lungs, F*** the Mayweathers. 1, 2, 3, F*** the Mayweathers.
He sold that fight too, man. He sold it all.
Billed as combat sports' biggest ever duel, there was no moniker more fitting. Both men to be handsomely paid come a night of fisticuffs, and though it was Floyd who left the arena as the victor, going in there was no stock for McGregor to even lose, and his star power would reach where no MMA fighter had ever gone before.
The check is all right. The check's not bad. Very good.
That cursed fight against Mayweather had granted untold riches. Whilst victories against Aldo and then Alvarez would cement his fighting legacy, that duel inside of the squared circle would seal his monetary one. The revenues of which had opened up new doors, ones even the dreaming version of Conor without a dollar to his name could scarcely imagine. A whiskey company forged and further desires sated. The high life beckoned, and would swallow him whole as the MMA world moved onwards. For the mind of a UFC champion, there must always be a new high to chase. And when there are none left to conquer outside of crude stimulation and cheap thrills, one is easily driven to madness. Eventually for Conor though, a fighting high would be found. One last chance to get that fix of adrenaline and put his combat sports credibility back in good standing. But it would take a duel of epic proportions, fueled by bad blood, to motivate him. And come a fateful encounter with a fellow teammate, one man would ignite the spark.
But what is the backstory behind the dispute between these guys?
So there's a guy named Artem who is Conor's best friend. He's from Russia.
This guy talk shit about me.
Но один чемпион и выйдет несмотря ни на что, а другой секунд будет сниматься каждый раз. Так ему оплюх на улице где-нибудь, если попадется, могу надавать без проблем.
I catch him. I ask him, hey. You wanna say something in front of my face? Say now.
Let me know, and that's it. For you, this one for Conor, like this.
Conor fueled up the G650 and loaded it up with Irish guys. They flew to New York and attacked the bus that he was on.
Insane, man. That was insane.
What the fuck? Fucking pussies! Just tell me where, and that's it. Why you need come here? Show up like you wanna fight or something like this. Send me a message, hey, come here, this place, and that's it.
The fight is done. October, Las Vegas. It's on, ladies and gentlemen.
You talked a big game, now I'm here. Here's my location, you little fool. Right in front of you.
Little fool. You little fool. You little rat. You always say, you little rat.
Do something about it. I am going to truly love putting a bad beating on this little glass jaw rat. I don't give a fuck about him. My heart is black towards this man, towards his team, towards his people. Fuck peace. There will never be peace here. I always say you should aim for peace. But if you can't aim for peace, aim between the eyes. And that's it. I'm gonna aim right between that man's eyes. And this is never over.
McGregor had in that build descended fully onto madness. The lines of morality long blurred, his actions had overstepped every boundary. And yet, at the end of it all, he simply didn't care. A scorched earth mentality, Conor was all in. An admirable accolade to some, shameful to others. But the beauty of the fight game is that through every word uttered, all of it comes to the surface when gloves are wrapped and Buffer bellows.
Wherever you are in the world tonight, one way or another, we will all witness a piece of UFC history. The king is back.
Face right at time, no range at all. They're just sitting there punching, exchanging.
Oh! Massive right from Nurmagomedov!
And on the ground, he just got mauled.
They know what he wants to do. They can't stop him.
There's the choke.
He's got it. It's under the neck.
There's the tap! Still undisputed! Khabib Nurmagomedov has finished Conor McGregor tonight!
Insane. And the thing is that didn't humble Conor. That didn't change Conor, you know what I mean? Like, if I got manhandled like that from a guy, after, you know, speaking on things I did sell the fight, I made it rich forever. But it'll be like, okay, maybe it's a time. And you did see that with Dustin. He became a little bit more humbled, but at the same time, he had a lot of other shit going on in the background. It just manifested. And, yeah, it just got worse and worse. He felt untouchable. He felt invincible. He felt like a god. And when you feel like a god, you will get humbled by God. Straight away. He'll check you, man. He'll check you.
Though Conor, in his part,
for his own, his own actions, got checked.
Was no stranger to loss inside of the cage. It was this bout at UFC 229 that would strike the soul and seal his fate forevermore. For being the notorious, the cultivated figure made for those moments under the bright lights, losing on quite literally the UFC's biggest ever stage was a reality he simply couldn't face, even if initial reactions said otherwise.
I mean, after the shots you took when the kid jumped in.
Fuck about that.
Huh?
I don't give a bollocks about that. Those handbags.
Yeah. I didn't see Khabib jumping over that. I didn't see that coming.
Who cares about that? That's handbags. So here comes B. And that's that. Speak where it matters, and let's see. End of. Who cares about that? I need out of shit.
For that response was nothing more than a facade, a stoic mask for the real man underneath, who left the arena that night mentally broken. The void left by the Nurmagomedov clan, combined with an evident entourage of yes men and enablers, McGregor was spiraling to the utmost degree, becoming someone bitter and full of hate.
When he threw that guy's phone down the ground, stomped it in Miami.
Conor McGregor allegedly broke a phone that belonged to a man who wanted to take a picture with him.
Conor McGregor, he's just losing it right now. It feels like he's lost it.
You're in a pub and you're offering a fucking shot to an old guy and he probably tells you your whiskey's shit. You don't punch him in the fucking face.
He's got like $100 million in the bank. He still wants to fight people, still smacking people at bars.
He goes out on the piss, tells stories about how he used to be this, that and the other. He's basically become that 50-year-old guy at the bar while he's still in his 30s.
That's not the attitude or the behavior of a leader, of a martial artist, of a champion. So I must get my head screwed on and just get back in the game and fight for redemption, retribution, respect, the things that made me the man I am, and that's what I will do.
Khabib in the build and bout long ago had left psychological scars that would never truly heal, and Conor would resort to cheap below-the-belt tactics that would temporarily sate him and only him. Perhaps in a crude attempt to bring his former adversary out of retirement, these words spouted in drunken stupors would do more damage to his reputation than any punch or choke.
But I think he took things a little too far with talking about Khabib's father, after him passing.
Khabib sent a message directly to Dustin Poirier on something known as Twitter that said, "Good always defeats evil." Conor responded to it saying, so COVID was good and father was evil because Khabib's father passed away of COVID. That is beyond...
You can't say that. You can't say a thing like this.
Only evil can talk about your
father. When you bring someone's family into it, especially after a guy manhandled you like that, that's so disrespectful, man. And obviously Conor McGregor would beat majority of the people up. He's an MMA fighter. He's a killer. But there's levels to killers. And Khabib's a different beast. He's a different animal.
Father, like wife, kids, religion. Like, if you're normal, like human, you're never gonna talk about this stuff, My dad was like different level, about like this situation. He always like, his heart was like so like clean,
На самом деле его простили?
Да.
Вот, абсолютно.
Вот понимаете,
За те оскорбления.
Нет, это все в прошлом. Нельзя останавливаться, жизнь продолжается. И наша религия должна показать милосердие не на словах, а на деле. Если он приедет, вы увидите то же самое. Примем его как дорогого гостя.
An over-reliance on the drink and drugs was now clear. This inebriated version of the Notorious was perhaps the one hiding all along, the true man behind the mask. It truly is a doomed tale we've heard before, for the mindset of a combat sports champion is one that never wavers on the come-up.
This is what I mean, even though Conor McGregor said all these things was wrong, he never had proper repercussions. Again, he still felt invincible, the money and the fame, it just overrided everything. And because, he got shook to his core by that fight, he never recovered. And I believe that to a degree. I believe psychologically, if you get manhandled by a guy, you're like Conor McGregor, a big statue guy, and you've won all the success and the fame, and then, you come back and this guy, beats you the way you are, like how you beat everyone else, and you've built your whole identity around that ego, of course you'd be destroyed, because that ego is your identity, and that's what happened to Conor. His ego was his identity, and Khabib took that away. He took away his identity, and that broke him, psychologically and fundamentally.
Grave sacrifices are made to reach the ultimate prize, and for that small moment of catharsis, comes a psyche now void of any ambition.
I've lost my mind doing this game, like Vincent van Gogh. He dedicated his life to his art and lost his mind in the process. That's happened to me. But fuck it. When that gold belt was around my waist, when my mother has a big mansion, when my girlfriend has a different car for every day of the week, when my kids have everything they ever want, then it will pay. Then I'm happy I lost my mind.
Perhaps in a feeble attempt to sate those inner demons and addictions the only way he knew how, McGregor would return to the octagon, Donald Cerrone his adversary. By most, the duel considered a layup. There may well have been an ulterior motive in donning the gloves once more. Not just to salvage his sanity as mentioned, but to restore what was left of his fighting reputation. To do so would require donning a mask once more, this time one new. A literal antithesis to the motivated McGregor that many fell in love with. Conor's new persona outside of the cage was a facade of family values, honor and respect.
I certainly I've turned over a new leaf, you know. Although I feel I'm still the same young man, but I definitely feel re-energized and refreshed. And it's hard not to respect Donald right now at this stage, and he has my respect. And although there will be blood spilled on January 18th, it will not be bad blood.
The tension in this building is undescribable. If you're not here, I'd imagine around the world as you're watching, it feels pretty tense wherever you may be. Donald Cowboy Cerrone, it is all in front of him here tonight as he tries to spring the upset against the prohibitive favorite, former two-division.
I remember watching this fight. It was kind of insane how Conor added something to his, utility with the shoulders. It was the whole shoulder hit. Just bumping his shoulders into Cerrone, just fucking him up that way. It was really interesting. He definitely changed his game a little bit, and it was just, you don't see that a lot. Not even now, you don't even see fighters do that. Obviously, it's got to make sense with styles of fighting, but yeah, it was just a very interesting fight. And then, obviously, the Dustin Poirier fights, that's a different story. We'll probably get into that in a minute, too.
Champion, the notorious Conor McGregor. Tonight's fight clock is brought to you by Modelo. Early head kick from McGregor. Cerrone covering up.
That didn't show it. Yeah, he fucking cleaned up. He cleaned up. He still had a bit of spark in him, you know what I mean?
Etch my name in history one more time for the Irish people, for me man back home. I love you the bits, man, coming on with win.
For all that had been said and done, Conor was still the face of the fight game, and this newfound persona and subsequent performance would help to diminish previous crimes in the eyes of many. It was a character he would carry forward into his next duel against former foe Dustin Poirier, but against greater, more skilled competition, the nice guy facade would only weaken his resolve. The Diamond was a man stoic, hungry, chasing the riches Conor had claimed once before. And in contrast, McGregor, though he wouldn't show it, was still reeling from the years of substance abuse and the gluttonous lifestyle.
Well, once you get to that level, man, it's just, you're not getting up and getting punched in the face every day anymore.
What's that Marvin Hagler quote about it's hard to get up at 5 in the morning and go running when you're sleeping in silk sheets?
I don't care how good you are in anything. You don't have discipline, you ain't nobody.
Right.
You're nothing without discipline because you give up under the slightest struggle without discipline.
The competitive fire is still in me, and like I said, I will regroup and adjust and come back.
The craziest part is he went from this to back to his own old persona again. It's like he couldn't be himself, even when he's going off and doing all these things. I don't even think that's really him. I think after the Khabib fight and everything that happened, during the build-up to the Khabib and everything, playing that persona, it became a part of him for sure, but he was still pretending something that he was not. But he believed that was the gateway for everything because he won fame and riches off it, right? So when he lost that, he thought that he could bring that again, but it was actually more fundamental than that. It's his actual inner self that he always lost. He lost that a long, long time ago, a long, long time before the Khabib fight. The Khabib fight just highlighted it, and then he tried to bring it back with this facade, and it didn't work. It made it worse, and just showed, where Conor McGregor was at, man. It's sad to see sporting legends with such a big platform and so much success and dedication and discipline lose themselves to this, There is a really art to this game of life and social media and spotlight. I want to make this clear. I'm going to speak facts right now. There is an art to this life of social media and fame and public eyeballs. There's a balance, and you can really lose yourself in this game. You can really become a former shell of yourself. You could lose yourself. You can become the very thing that you maybe morally are completely against, but because you're getting validation off things that aren't necessarily good, you think it's good just because of validation, but it's not. I went through that with myself with rage bait. I still will do it. I like it. I think this is all a big game when it comes to social media. I think this is all just bullshit. But at the same time, I also want to use my platform to do good and to be able to help people and guide people and show people that there is a good way through life. You can go chase your goals without, compromising your morals. And that's where I want to be as a person. So even though I rage bait, even though I go after people, even though I don't really give a fuck, at the same time I do. You know, that's a fact. I'm just playing the game like a game of chess. But you can lose yourself in this.
Back, you know, I've done it before and I'll do it again.
At the top level, corners simply cannot be cut. And McGregor knew that better than most. But through every dollar made, bottle of champagne popped, that fighting hunger left him bit by bit until there was nothing more. He just simply couldn't admit it. And that would show come the trilogy bout, as any crude attempts of chucking away this new mask in favor of his old persona would do little to mentally sway his opponent. The words spat, now all without venom, and the same to be said of every strike landed.
I was boxing the bleeding head off him, kicking the bleeding leg off him. Usual dive to close the distance. This is not over. If we had to take this outside with him, it's all outside. We don't give a bollocks.
Amidst a growing list of transgressions inside and out of the cage, another would come to the fore, one not ignited by an adversary nor stranger, instead a friend now former. Artem Lobov, who unknowingly set off that legendary feud with Khabib so long ago, was now taking stance against McGregor. Not in the cage, but in the courtroom.
Conor is now being sued by his old friend Artem Lobov.
Artem is a waffler, na 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 na, hey, na 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 na, hey.
It's over the whiskey deal, Proper 12. And Artem is suing Conor, and there was a percentage. I think it was
5% of the... That's fucked.
The rights and wrongs in this instance greyer than most, perhaps, but Conor's previous track record since reaching the summit of mixed martial arts would do little to court public opinion. His reputation hit with yet another blemish, and many more to come, but none would compare to his sins that would finally come to the surface soon after.
Conor McGregor was found civilly liable for assault of Nikita Hand.
This has been coming for Conor McGregor. This is one of several accusations of several different crimes that Conor McGregor has been alleged of in the last 5 years.
Look, in society in 2025, I'm not an idiot. People do, women, and, women do this. Not all women, but some women. I'd say a small minority. They, make accusations and things of people of high status to get financial advancements and financial gains and agendas that serve them at the cost of the cost of the man's reputation and his legacy. They will tear you down just to get a buck. They'll tear you down just for, attention and validation by the public eye. If you're a high value man or a big celebrity figure. But in Conor McGregor's case, he got proven guilty. Whatever he did, whatever actions, whatever things he did, even though it was a civil case, not federal. So it was more for compensation, not for, for the victim. It wasn't about him, serving time. With civil cases, that you pay damages and all those things. It's a bit different to a federal case. So Conor didn't go to prison. But for Conor to lose that battle and be guilty, he did some things that weren't right. And that's the thing, you should never do that. Conor McGregor has a responsibility as a public figure to inspire and to lead and to set a right example for the future generations of young guys, fighters, people in the social media game, everything. And when he did that, he destroyed his legacy. He showed a really, really bad side of the world. He showed a really bad side of men. He showed a really bad side of, himself. And he tarnished his whole UFC legacy off that. Now, people, will they still react to his stuff? Yes. Will he still be funny? Possibly. But that never goes away, And like I said, there are women out there that take advantage of that. And by doing that, still ruin the man's name and then you're done. That's why it's such a heinous thing to do. But he got proven guilty. And, that shows that his true colours and he never resolved what happened to him. So, I don't know the man personally. I'm not going to make judgments off his personal life. That's not my place. But what I will say of what I know off the, what the public has been provided with information, what you did was wrong, Conor McGregor, and, you had a responsibility, and you have a responsibility as a public figure to, lead by example and show that you're a responsible and good man and that fame and success isn't anything, but you're just a man just like us, and you worked your way to the top and you worked your butt off, but you didn't get consumed, but you don't get consumed by the vices and the degeneracy, but instead you did, to the point where you now damage someone else's life forever, you tarnish your career, and you disappointed and embarrassed your fans.
McGregor, you're a devious coward is how he was described in court. Do you have any reaction or apology to the women at the centre of this?
With money and fame, many high-profile individuals were able to shed their old skin, brush under the rug any previous transgressions. Conor had done so up to a point, but these allegations, first lodged in 2019, had finally gone to court. In a post-Me Too movement world, such crimes rightfully hold far more weight than most, and not even Conor's reputation as the face of the fight game could save him.
I want to show Freya and every other girl and boy that you can stand up for yourself if something happens to you, no matter who the person is, and justice will be served. To all the victims of assault, I hope my story is a reminder that no matter how afraid you might be, speak up, you have a voice, and keep on fighting for justice.
Found liable in a civil case, the payout was a drop in the ocean of Conor's vast wealth, but the damage to his reputation, unmistakable. The accuser's house being broken into by masked assailants only months prior could well be an indicator of Conor's shady links to the Kinahan clan, an infamous crime family operating out of Ireland. But that is a tale for another day, one that may fully come to light soon enough. Branded with that namesake forevermore, where is it now that Conor McGregor goes next? Long have we heard of empty threats and promises, taunting the kings of today and tomorrow.
There's no one doing it like me. Nobody.
But they all mean little. Once the king of kings, the face of the fight game, the Irishman was now the boy who cried wolf, even his most staunch defenders finally going against him. There will be cries of conspiracy and desperate appeals from McGregor's camp in the decision's wake, but the jury and public have made up their decision. Conor's house of cards is finally collapsing. Purged from promotional material for his old company, erased from video game cameo appearances, this, I dare say, is only the tip of the iceberg. Some would say money and fame had changed him. I'd argue it simply unveiled and enabled the man that had always been there.
That's the other thing too, right? That's the other thing with Conor McGregor is that, you know, maybe he was always that guy, and then, you know, he got to a point where he felt invincible so he could show his true colours. That's what you guys got to think as all the ex-Conor McGregor fans and the people that liked Conor. You have to, you know, sort of ask that question, because it is quite a big possibility, because money just amplifies whoever you already are.